A former employee of Jeffrey Epstein just hurled a major boulder at Donald Trump as the house of cards continues to teeter. Look out below. I'm David Reddish. Welcome to Occupy Democrats. The news cycle doesn't take a break for the weekends, especially when it comes to the ongoing Jeffrey Epstein scandal. Or, more properly, Donald Trump's continued attempts to dodge questions about his relationship with Epstein and his knowledge of Epstein's crimes. Epstein, of course, is the most notorious sex trafficker of the century, maybe even ever. And as Trump and his cockroaches continue to duck questions and deny release of the official FBI and Department of Justice files on Epstein, pressure on the Trump administration continues to rise. Earlier this week, Vice President and racist Care Bear J.D. Vance hosted a dinner with Trump and other key administration officials to develop a strategy to move forward amid the scrutiny. Take a look.
And Vice President J.D. Vance is pushing back against reports he planned to host a strategy dinner on Jeffrey Epstein and the Epstein files. Sources say top administration officials planned to meet at the vice president's residence yesterday as they weigh whether to release the transcript of an interview with Epstein co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell. But now Vance says the dinner never happened and was never scheduled in the first place. Washington Bureau Managing Editor Catherine Falders has more on that. Catherine, what's the latest here?
Well, the bigger picture here is that, yes, there was a meeting scheduled yesterday. They always and have typically been meeting, whether it's at the White House or somewhere else, about the strategy as it relates to Epstein moving forward here. This is a issue that has really encompassed the White House, the Department of Justice, and the FBI, and something that they haven't really figured out the path forward on yet. And what I mean by that is there are debates internally about whether or not to release that transcript of that interview that Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche did with Ghislaine Maxwell earlier this month. Conversations have really revolved around that transcript, around an audio recording of that, how to release that, whether to release that or not, and then when to make that public. So these discussions that have been happening among top administration officials are still very much ongoing, Diane.
And Catherine, now the vice president is pushing back on the idea of this strategy dinner and whatnot. Where does this whole story go from here? How's the administration handling this now?
Well, it's a good question. I don't think that they have decided themselves, really, where this is going or how this will end.
And the more they deny, the deeper they dig themselves. And wait until you see this next bombshell. Stay tuned. By the way, I also should point out that somehow deferring to J.D. Vance on this mess is a major strategic misstep. Making that man the swollen face of any issue is bound to turn the public against it. And by the way, JD, since we all know you want to run for president like a tick wants blood, you should also have the foresight to realize you're now covering for a sexual predator of the underage. That's not going to play well when you want to tout your accomplishments. And besides, we all know the summit happened, so why gaslight us? That's an insult. But maybe Vance has reason to run scared. Maybe he knew about this new interview with Epstein's longtime butler and the new bombs he was about to drop. In a new and very lengthy interview with the UK outlet The Telegraph, Jeffrey Epstein's butler of 18 years has finally spoken out about his notorious boss, his boss's friendship with Donald Trump, and his own thoughts on the Epstein files. Valdson Vieira Catrin, who worked for Epstein in his Paris home, now says that Trump offered Epstein a cabinet job upon winning the presidency in 2016. Catrin, however, does not say what job that was, if indeed Trump even had a specific job in mind at the time of his offer. Catrin believes Epstein turned down the job because he feared being controlled by Trump. In the same interview, Catrin also confirms Prince Andrew's sexual crimes, including an incident with a 13-year-old girl. Catrin also, perhaps most significantly, says he fears for his own life. He does not believe Epstein killed himself in prison in 2019. He finds the fact that two people associated with the Epstein case, disgraced British photographer David Hamilton and Virginia Giuffre, one of Epstein's victims, also died by suicide in a similar fashion to Epstein. To Catrin, that's not a coincidence, it's a message. Powerful people are trying to keep people in Epstein's orbit silent. Catrin fears meeting a similar end. Perhaps for that reason, he insists he did not know of any of Epstein's crimes committed during his employment, which I don't know about you, but I believe that about as much as I do hearing JD Vance say he didn't host an Epstein crisis summit. Look, Trump world is running scared right now, and there are bigger bombshells to come. Release the files so we can all finally answer the questions: what did Trump know? What did he do? And when did he do it all? This is Occupy Democrats.